3,679 minutes approximately is how much I have spent allowing my mind to be consumed by social media, by aimlessly scrolling. Here's the thing, a little backstory. I was a social media manager. I worked in television, creating digital content to promote television shows since about 2017. And in 2018, I started my own social media management business. Then I became a coach, and I felt like I always needed to be on social media to promote one business to the next. And there was never some time to just like pause and think, what is it that I wanted to create more of in my life? The point of this video is more, what can you create more of outside of social media? If you're curious, my name is Carla. I am a personal growth coach, a storyteller, a mom, a wife. And prior to creating this video, I have been on social media creating for my own self since like 2012. So there's probably more minutes that my mind has been consumed with social media. And here's the thing. This last year, I became a first-time mom. And while I was pregnant, I knew that my time was going to be limited. And I started thinking, how do I want to live more of an intentional life? I really prioritized personal growth in terms of how can I be more of myself mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And so I would do practices every day like meditation and creating out of fun and creativity and passion. And I allowed myself time to move and like create more time for movement, more time for family, more time for health, and all of the above, mental, emotional, right? And so this video is about creating, yes, but it's about creating more time to do the things that are going to connect you to your values, what is most important to you. So if you were to create more time with your family, how would that look like, right? Every month, me and my husband have been actually planning this next year in like, how are we going to create more time with our parents? They're getting older and we want to create more memories with them and so that they can have more time with their grandson. And so we have already been scheduling time in our calendar and booking the flights and planning and scheduling with them. And I know for some of you adventure seekers out there, you're like, whoa, that's too much. I can't plan my entire year, but you can plan a few days in advance, right? Like, what is it that I need more of so that I can create more joy, more fulfillment, more passion, more happiness in my life, right? More peace. And so last year when I was in this mind of intentionally creating more and consuming less, I asked myself, what is God calling me to create? And God was calling me to create a foundation for my family, a foundation where I show up as the best version that I can. I'm not perfect, for my husband and my son, by working on my mental and emotional health and my physical and my spiritual health, right? So what does that need to look like? Well, I need to create more time to make time for God in the morning, reading my Bible or meditating so that I can connect with the higher power, right? Being able to at least walk 30 minutes every day. I walked every single day when I was pregnant, except my very last trimester, which was the hardest for me. But I created more time for the things that were going to fill my cup. I picked up swimming because I love swimming. And so I showed up almost every other day to swim during the summer because I wanted to create more fun in my life. And so when I say create more and consume less, it doesn't mean create more on social media, right? Or create more so the external world can see you, but it's create more of what you need in your life. So ask yourself, what is it that I need, right? What is God calling me to create? And maybe you need more time to look within yourself and like uncover those fears. And so maybe you need to work with a coach or a therapist or seek a community of people who are like-minded. Maybe you need to create more time with your family because you're constantly putting work first or just like outside metrics before spending time with your loved ones, right? And so one of the goals that my husband and I had last year was to create more of a community in the new city that we're living in. And so we started to find churches. We found a church that we loved before we got married and we started going there, but we started going to like events at the church and connecting with people and doing Bible study and getting into small groups and really creating more time to not only make time for God, but make time for a spiritual community. So ask yourself, if I want to create more life-giving relationships, what spaces do I need to show up in? Maybe it's empowerment events. Maybe if you're really into business, go and show up in like your chamber of commerce, or show up by going to Eventbrite and seeing what events they have there, and show up and create more relationships that are in alignment to what you're looking for. And lastly, what can you create that you simply want to create? Maybe you've been putting things off because you've been consuming a lot. You've been mindlessly scrolling. You've been mindlessly swiping on dating apps. Maybe whatever it is that you are constantly consuming, that's a distraction, and it's preventing you from creating the life you desire. And so what do you want to create more of? Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to start a passion project or start a new hobby. Like 2 years ago, I picked up paddleboarding, and that was like the best decision I've ever made, because it just makes me feel so happy when I'm paddleboarding, when I do give myself the time to go out and paddleboard. I picked up swimming, like I mentioned. I picked up journaling. I'm a consistent art journaler. I love being able to journal. And when I don't have time, now that I'm a mom, to do that like physically in a journal, I write on my digital journal, in my digital journal that I have on Notion. And other ways that you can create, it's like, if you want to cook more, what can you cook? Are you interested in cooking new cuisine, or maybe it's a new recipe? This summer, I also picked up creating jams. I went to nextdoor.com, and that's a great place to like just find resources and community. And people were giving away like a bunch of fruit during the summer. And so I got a big box of plums and I created jam. And that really got me excited to like want to create more homemade things. I'm definitely not like a homemaker who like creates things by scratch, but jam was fun to create. Since then, I've learned to create bone broth and chicken broth. I got tongue twisted there. And my next project is learning how to make sourdough bread, although that seems very intimidating. So what is it that you need to create today? So if courage was the only option, if fear was not in the way, and you wanted to create something, what would you create today? So for me, it was showing up on YouTube and creating this video, because something was just calling me to post this video. And I will admit, I recorded it twice, because the first time it was super dark and the lighting looked really bad, and I needed to fight with the natural light of my window and allow my son to nap. He's currently napping. I have a newborn. And so I needed to make the time, right? I needed to create the time, but I didn't. And so what is something that you need to create today that is going to just bring you more fulfillment, because it's something that you've been either putting off, or God has called you to do, or your intuition just keeps like telling you need to put this out there and you're avoiding it, or you need to create this thing, right? And so I want you to go ahead and do two things right now. First off, ask yourself, what is God calling me to create? And if courage was the only option and fear did not get in the way, what is something that I'd create right now? Just taking the first step. And I want you to brain dump that stuff. And once you brain dump it, I want you to create a mind map. And a mind map basically is like drawing a circle in the middle of a paper and write a word like create, and then draw little spider legs. And what is it that you want to create? Maybe you want to create a new business, or maybe you already have a business and you want to create a new offer, or maybe you want to create more time with your friends. Well, how does that look like? Maybe it's picnics, or putting a dinner at your house once a month, or getting your friends together to start a new tradition and like go hiking, or maybe it's creating play dates with your friends who are moms or whatever. And then you have another spider, and it's like you want to create more homemade cuisine. Okay, I want to learn how to make sourdough bread, chicken broth, and jam. Those are the 3 recipes I want to create. And then when you look at this mind map and you see the things that you are putting off that you want to create because you're constantly consuming and mindlessly scrolling or swiping, and then like once you look at this map, you're going to be like, oh my God, I could create that one thing today. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be a year from now. I just need to stop consuming and start creating. And so again, scrolling and consumption is just preventing you from living a fulfilled life, a life full of joy and peace and confidence and passion. And so start creating. start creating, tap into your creativity, and just know that when you allow yourself to be curious and seek new experiences, you are going to create so much beauty in your life. And I just want to actually make this point of creating new experiences. Back in 2016, I was in a funk. That was the first time I was in a funk, and then it happened again in 2019, but that's a whole personal story I'll probably share if you subscribe to this channel. But in 2016, I wanted to become the person God was calling me to be, and I was like, I want to try new things. And so I started this series called Never Have I Ever, which you can watch it on my YouTube channel. And I just started trying a bunch of new things. Like if I wanted to try snowboarding and I didn't have money for it, I was like, okay, well, what can I do to snowboard? And I reached out to a snowboarding company and I was like, hey, I'll make a video, like, if you give me free lessons. And so we exchanged that, and I got to try snowboarding for the first time and get free snowboarding lessons and bring my friends. And then I was scared of certain things, and so I wanted to step out of my comfort zone, and I tried that new thing like flying an airplane. And of course I documented all this journey so you could watch it, but I did it because I knew that I wanted to create more excitement, more fun, more fulfillment in my life. And the only way to do that was, one, to step out of my comfort zone, two was to create more and consume less, and also just tap into my own desires and ask myself, what is it that I want to have more in my life? You'll see that you'll create more beauty in your life, as mentioned. So anyways, I'm just gonna wrap up this video because I did do it in one take. I wanted to challenge myself to just speak from the heart, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you want more videos on personal growth and courage and just living an intentional life, be sure to subscribe to this channel and head over to my description where you can sign up for my newsletter. Every week I send a empowering newsletter that's just going to help you be the most courageous, confident person God is calling you to be. So I hope that you sign up to that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.